Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the first video for the Brickworld Chicago 2020 mock update series. Obviously it's going to be Clone Wars again, and I'm super excited to get this started, so let's jump right on into it. So before we get on to the actual video, there is a few things I want to talk about concerning the mock, and it's going to be some stuff I usually don't entirely talk about this stuff in my channel or not, but essentially, for this year's project, the color scheme for this mock and the parts used are going to be very, very similar to Etane's. Battle Etane's Brickworld Chicago 2018. The color scheme is going to be very similar to that, and a lot of people will probably say it's very lazy to go back to a color scheme of that matter. Essentially, since Operation War Mantle, the first project, and Etane's were very similar in terms of terrain, and this one's going to be similar to that as well in color scheme, like the mountain colors and the dark tan mixed with dark gray, brown, some light tan, sand pieces. The reason for that this year is my partner and I, so at Lego World War on Instagram, I leave his Instagram always in the description down below. We work on the builds together. It's over at my house. He comes over, we work on it throughout the year. We're both sophomores in college now. It's our second year in college. And the previous years of Brickworld, I'll flat out say we've been spending anywhere from $300 to $500 per project, and we've done 3 of those projects now, and added up, that's quite a bit of money for each project. I have no problem spending the money because this is one of the things I love to do. It's like building a mock and doing these series and sending it to Brickworld and going there and getting a reaction from all the public people and meeting all my friends from online. One of the best, it's the thing I look forward to almost the most. So I have no problem spending that money, but due to us being sophomores in college, the funds are not going to be able to spend as much on this project. We also are making a short film right now, and we have other projects planned for the future, and camera gear especially, and props, a lot of camera gear and lights is very expensive as well. Now of course I'll be able to use that camera gear for the channel as well, but essentially we just can't afford to spend that much money on these projects anymore. It's not financially not a good idea really for us to keep spending that much money on these projects. And of course we'll probably still drop a good amount of money on the project, but not as much as previous years. It's just not really possible for us to do that anymore. So what that means is we're going to be using a lot of parts from our previous projects like Etane's. A lot of people say that's probably a little bit lazy to go with the same color scheme, and my point to that is this whole explanation here. But also, still going to use those pieces we have, but we're kind of going to try to move it around and make it unique and different. I just want to give a fair warning because I feel like people are going to get a little upset that this one's very similar to Etane's, because Siege of Mandalore and Etane's are 2 huge different projects, so that was really fun, I think, for people to watch us do like a terrain-based build, and then next year we did like a city-urban thing with Mandalore, and now we're going back to that Etane's, that more World War II battlefield type thing, which a lot of people really liked, and it's personally what we love to build the most, is the World War II battlefields mixed with Star Wars. So we're going back to that very similar color scheme with the dark tan and dark gray. Just a warning for that. I just want to give this explanation as to why the color scheme is very similar, but it's going to be still very unique in the way it's built, but it'll be familiar in a little bit in terms of the color scheme. So this whole thing right here is probably, I didn't need to entirely explain it, but I like to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on if you're wondering why there's not as much Bricklink packages coming in, or why this one's not as big as the other projects. We just shrink this one down a little bit this year. It's still large, but not as large as the previous years. A lot of stuff that I think is good for you guys to know. Just keep that in mind going forward with this project. We had to make it a bit smaller, and the color scheme is similar, but I can guarantee you this is still going to be a very, very epic mock. An over-explanation probably didn't make this long, but I like you guys to be informed on what's going on, so enjoy the rest of the video.
Alright guys, so I thought I would give the overview of the mock. I'm going to do that right now, but I just want to say first off that I'm not going to give a super in-depth kind of overview, because if you noticed over the last couple mocks that I've done, if you go back and watch the beginning videos, the overview outline of what we have planned versus what's finished is very different from each other. So I'm just going to give rough outlines, and then I'll update you guys as I go along with what we're moving, what we're changing, and what I'm kind of doing with all that stuff. Overview right now is this is the size we're going for here. We got 4 gray right here, and then we got 6 green base plate, and then 2 of these half base plates. Those 2 are there for now. We might take those off depending on pieces, and you guys kind of heard me talk about that in the earlier segment about all the stuff we're doing to this mock. Start off with Down here is going to be like the Separatist kind of side, and then over here is going to be Battlefield, you know, similar to what we've done in the past. But I'll say first off, this whole thing is going to be raised 8 to 10 bricks high, so that's similar to the size of Etane's that I did a few years ago. If you guys remember that build, we built it up 10 bricks high. These outlines right here are all hallways. Those will be on the base level, so those will be underneath those 8 to 10 bricks. So kind of like that'll be ground level, and then this outline up here is up top. So you have all these hallways here that are going to be part of the main focus of the build, and those go all the way down here. Those are going to be again on the base plate level right there. So those will be on base plate level, and they're going to be one of the main attractions of this MOC. So you'll be able to see all these really well detailed hallways, kind of nice polished Separatist hallways, and then as you move down the line this way, they get more and more rough and rocky and muddy all the way down to here, so it kind of wears out. And each of these kind of hallways are also going to go down the middle of the MOC, so you're going to be able to see down the middle of the MOC quite a ways in with lots of cool lights and cool figures and all that cool stuff. Hallways all the way down here. But then this up top is one of the kind of the second main thing. Outline for the Separatist fortification, which is what this main kind of build is focused on here with the droids. This is all outlining. This again will be on top of the 8 to 10 bricks high, and that's kind of how big it'll be. That area, that's a rough estimate. It's going to be, imagine like the Atlantic Wall from World War II, but like Star Warsified, if that makes sense. Again, sticking with the idea that we like to do World War II stuff mixed in with Star Wars. So you'll have a kind of a big rocky formation here with like pillboxes, kind of like Omaha Beach pillboxes, but obviously modified quite a bit. Some gun emplacements, other gun emplacements, maybe some turrets, auto turrets and such things, kind of like the landing at Point Rain Clone Wars episode with that giant wall with all the turrets popping out of the wall. That'll be what that huge giant outlined thing is right there, and then on top of it will probably be a landing pad of some sort. That's not decided yet completely, but right now it'll be a landing pad of some sort. And then over here, all battlefield areas, and then a bunch of different houses, not sure how many yet, but kind of war-torn, very destroyed buildings. Imagine Stalingrad. That's kind of the look we're going for over here, but with a little different color template. And then I mentioned earlier, all these hallways right here, all these hallways that go down the middle of the MOC, mostly these ones back here, will all link up to the houses here. So each of the houses will have a little like hole, like a foxhole, and you'll be able to look down, and that's where these hallways will connect. So this hallway will go down like this, over, and come out, and that's where one of the houses will be. And there'll be trenches and foxholes underneath the houses, outside of the houses. Stalingrad vibe, where there's just destroyed things everywhere, trenches all over the place, gun emplacements, all that stuff. This whole front area, these 6 base plates here, and then kind of these, I guess 2 gray base plates, will be the battlefield. Hallways all the way underneath in here, all splitting off in different directions underneath the build, and then the giant kind of Atlantic Wall fortification type thing here. And that'll be Separatist controlled, and the clones will be assaulting this way, and they'll be in the hallways trying to climb up like that. So that's kind of the outline. Probably makes 0 sense to you guys, but you'll kind of see it unfold as the episodes progress. Alright, so as I stated earlier, that we wanted to have a bunch of those hallways, and originally we were thinking of trying to design some of the hallways based off of the interiors of the Separatist like frigates and some of the Trade Federation ships, and some of the hallways like the Citadel hallways. So this was the very first prototype design that probably won't be used. Kind of based it off of the interior of some of the Separatist frigates you see in the Clone Wars TV show. Obviously it's not finished, I haven't connected those pipes yet, but I was mostly just trying to get the green light right there, and then these 2 bars right here. So as you can kind of tell, again, not finished, very prototype, that those are kind of angled like that at an angle, and I really like to look at those. And then that's just 1x4 gray bricks in the back with some translucent green, and then the lights are going through that, so that gives it the kind of green look that kind of bounces off the wall a little bit. So that was the first design. This one probably won't be used. Maybe I want to try to use that green. The big thing I want to take away from this is kind of that green lighting in the back. I'd like to have some of that in the hallways if we can. Otherwise, this was just kind of a cool experiment. I thought I'd show you guys this design. Because often in the Mandalore series, I didn't show very many like prototype designs. I usually just showed you guys finished products. So for this series, I want to kind of show you guys a little bit more of the process, hopefully. So that starts with that.
there is the first prototype for the hallway with the green lights.
Alright guys, so I have set up some of the kind of layers of the MOC. As you can see down there, that's kind of one hallway. As I was saying, this is like underneath the Separatist fortification. There'd be like a hallway going in through there right underneath all these pillboxes and the whole Separatist thing right there. And then this is the hallway in front that I was talking about. Saw in a previous segment, I did have one hallway design already. I didn't know how that one would fit into these hallway designs very well, so I went ahead and designed a couple more. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these front two, I kind of looked at the scene in episode 3 where Obi-Wan, Palpatine, and Anakin get stuck in the ray shield, as well as the Citadel episodes from the Clone Wars, and I tried to kind of replicate it, not really replicate it, I just tried to get inspiration from some of that stuff, and since we're not doing Snot, it's a little harder to get all those angles exactly the same as you see in the TV show and episode 3, so I just kind of got some inspiration and ran with it. Not liking this one, so I'm probably scrapping that one. I really do like these 3 right here though. I like this one, and then this one I think if I can just flip sideways, I really like that one. So it'd kind of look like this a little bit, but maybe a little bit more angled. So just a little bit more angled for that one. So those two are pretty similar, just each going different ways. And then this one I like as well. So I'll keep going. I just thought for this series I'd like to kind of update you guys a little bit more for the work in progress building. Instead of just showing you guys finished products, I'd like to kind of show you guys how many different prototype phases that go into building MOCs like this. So I thought I'd show you guys the different designs that I'm messing with right now to try to figure out a baseline for the hallway design.
So now that I got a lot of these plates stacked on top, I kind of thought I'd give another overview. It might be a little bit easier this way. So as you can see, I kind of laid the outline of the giant Separatist fortification Atlantic wall type thing, where we've got rock formations and pillboxes and such. None of that's like final. I just use it as an outline, so you can kind of see it would start out there and kind of wind all the way down over into this corner, and then this whole area on top would be like a landing pad or something like that. So I thought that would make it a little bit easier to kind of understand what's going on with that. And then the hallways would be underneath like this. So they're going under all the way over to there. And then this whole area over here is houses and trenches, and all this area over here will be the battlefield. So again, this will all be covered eventually, but I just got this done and made the outline, so I thought I'd show you guys this. So there's the kind of general shape of the giant Separatist fortifications. And then battlefield over here, and then you got the hallways down here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the first episode for the Brickworld Chicago 2020 mock update series. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a little long and I kind of just started talking for a very long portion of it, but if you've seen my other years of Brickworld projects, the first episode is always a lot of planning and a lot of talking, and I guarantee you the next episode there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a little preview of it back there. I think you guys are going to like it a lot. It's really cool. Now I apologize for waiting this long before posting the first episode, but due to college, mostly college, I just haven't had a lot of time to go back home and build the episodes like I did last year for Siege of Mandalore. So I've got two Brickworld updates currently ready to go with this one right here, and then I'll post another one soon. And then over Thanksgiving break, I will film another one, and then we're pretty much at winter break, and at that point I have a ton of time to make a lot of episodes and a lot of progress on this MOC. So thank you guys for watching, and put any feedback, suggestions, ideas, anything you want in the comments below. I always look forward to reading those in these build series. So thank you guys a lot, and may the Force be with you.